The descendants of the enslaved Africans along the coastal lines from North Carolina to North Florida have a unique culture. Known as the Gullah Geechee people, they have their own language, their own traditions, and their own cuisine. And that cuisine comes alive in a new cookbook called Bress and Nyam. It means bless and eat in Gullah language. And its author, Chef Matthew Raiford, provides age-old as well as new recipes from oysters on hot tin to curried vegetable galette. Chef Matthew is also a farmer, hence the title Chef Farmer. 10 years ago, he decided to move to Brunswick, Georgia to run the Gilead Farms along with his sister Althea. The farm was bought in 1874 by, get this, his great-great-grandfather, Jupiter Gilead. Joining me now is Matthew Raiford. Brother Raiford, thank you for joining me on the show. What made you want to write Bress and Nyam?
Growing up here in what is considered the Deep South, and always hearing, people, especially nowadays, every big city wants to have the best Southern restaurant ever. I wanted to give Brunswick, which is one of the original 5 ports that George Washington put in place, a sense of place within a cookbook. And so I sat down and started working with the writer, Amy Condon, and she helped me really put it together. So I can't really complain on that.
Oh, man. Well, this book has lots of amazing recipes. It has lots of amazing slices of our culture. Talk to me first about them recipes. What are some of your favorites in the book?
Oh, wow. Let's see. You just mentioned the curried vegetable galette. People think that, we just eat fried chicken and pork. And what I was trying to show in the very beginning was that we are a people that eat vegetables from the earth and that we eat it quite well. And this is just a take on, like a vegetable pie, so to speak. I think one of my favorite is the 2 favorite that I have in here, I think would be my mom's recipe for molasses pound cake and oysters on hot tin, which has always been my deal. But I love the low country boil. Love it, love it, love it. And in South Carolina, it's called frogmore stew.
You made such an important point there. A lot of times when we think about Southern food, we think about what they called slave food. We think just about, greens and hog mugs and chitlins and stuff that we ate, had to eat, made culinary delights out of in many ways. But there's so many layers to our culture. When you talk about being in Brunswick, Georgia, where you are, when you talk about Gullah Geechee, whether it's in the Carolinas or Florida or Georgia, you talk about people that were near water, people who fished, people who grew stuff, people who were farmers. The fact that you're a farmer gives you some unique insight on this. Can you talk a little bit about how much variety there is in our culinary choices as a people?
Oh, wow. I mean, we're in plant hardness zone 9. 9A. So that means we can grow just about anything you can grow in Florida all the way down to the Caribbean almost. So on the farm, we have Persian limes, oranges, plums, muscadines, of course. We also have some wild things that we cultivate, like wild staghorn sumac, which is one of the primary ingredients in za'atar that comes out of the Mediterranean. And, when people think about the Mediterranean, they normally think of like southern Italy and Greece and almost forget about all of North Africa, right? So when we talk about some of the foods that we have in this area, we use a lot of those flavors and flavor profiles that come from that area and West Africa. We're also working with the Jubilee Justice Program, which is led by Conda Rice, and we're putting rice back. She's putting rice back in the Black people's hands. In that we're starting to cultivate rice. So this coming year, hopefully I can get close to commercial production with a black rice, a scarlet rice, and an arborio, all 3 of which come online at a different time so we can keep the economic flow still going.
My colleague Charles Blow wrote a wonderful book earlier this year that talked about the need to move south, the importance of moving south. You made a decision to move south a while back. You already had a successful career, 25 years under your belt as an executive chef, and you even served people in Congress in D.C. I mean, you had the career people dreamed of, and then you decided to leave it all, and you decided you were going to run Gilead Farms in Georgia from your great kinfolk. What made you do that?
Well, you know, I think the ancestors told me it was time to come home. I literally, my sister and I both in 2010 sat down with my nana, my mom, and my aunt, and they were, you know, talking. My nana said what she's always been saying, "Baby, what we gonna do with all this land?" And I would always say, "Y'all should go back to farming because that's what y'all know how to do." And for some reason, this one time, I felt it just come over me that said it's time to come home. And I literally said, "Nana, we should go back to farming." And she was like, "Did you say we, baby?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I did." And she just gifted my sister and I some land and was like, "Y'all better get to farming because that's what y'all gonna have to learn how to do." And so we went right into it. I went back to school to UC Santa Cruz, the Center for Agroecology and Sustainable Food Systems, and got a graduate certificate in ecological horticulture. So I went and reinforced the background that I was already raised in. You know, I was like 19, 20 years old by the time I found out people bought everything from the grocery store. I thought people just bought like rice, sugar, toilet paper, those kind of things. And if we really think about it, in the 80s, our produce sections inside of stores was super small. They weren't big, giant. You know, you couldn't get stuff like culantro. You couldn't get persimmons and pomegranates like you can right now. But that's also starting to slow down because of, you know, the global procurement has definitely changed a lot because of C-19.
Wow, so much going on, and one thing that can't be lost also is that the Gullah Geechee people who you're paying tribute to are facing extraordinary pressure from developers, the gentrification. You know, our culture is being foreclosed upon, not because black folk just forget about us, but because there's outside pressures, economic pressures, exploiters. And so what you're doing with the farm, what you're doing to keep the culture alive, what you're doing with your organization, what you and your wife Tia are doing with Strong Roots 9, all of it matters, brother. All of it is so important, man. So I want to thank you for keeping our culture alive. I want to thank you for spotlighting some unknown to many people parts of our culture. And thank you most of all for giving me some good recipe ideas for dinner tonight, Doc. Because I was going to eat my 3-piece from a certain fast food spot, but now I'm going to do something fancy. I'm going to make it myself. I'm going to go out and do this. You know what? I ain't even going to tell the people what I'm going to do, Doc. I ain't even going to tell them. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to put it on Instagram. I'm going to send it to you, and it's going to be straight from that cookbook. So, Chef Matthew, thank you for inspiring me. And
no worries. Well, you know what? I'm just talking, right? I can't make it. Because you come from Georgia, right? You know, when you get a chance, send me your address, and I'll ship you some shrimp straight off the Georgia coast, fresh caught, all that. Yeah, I'll put it in a freezer bag and send to you.
You ain't said nothing but a word.
When you make these recipes in here, and it asks for them Georgia white shrimp, you need to get them sweet white shrimp on that plate. You see what I'm saying? So. From
that's what I'm talking about, because right now all I got that worked for me, Doc, because right now I got is these North Philly frozen shrimp, and they not it. I got some. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the shrimp that you shipped me. I'm gonna make a dish coming straight out of the book Bress and Nyam. I'm gonna videotape it. I'm gonna post it, and I'm gonna let y'all know that's what we do around here. That's how we build community. He gonna send me some shrimp. I'm gonna cook the shrimp. I'm gonna eat the shrimp. I'm gonna share the shrimp, and that's what we gonna do. Everybody, make sure you copy that recipe that you get from the book. But first, buy the book. It's called Bress and Nyam. Bless and eat. Make sure you do it at an independently owned black bookstore, like, I don't know, UncleBobby's.com.